What the hell? It's a goddamn cougar in the car.
Righty, welcome back. Episode 16, right? I think it's 16 of the First Down Fantasy podcast. And
we changed the name officially.
Yeah, we kind of. I don't know. I'm still working on it. I changed it on the YouTube channel. I don't really know if I like it. We'll see if it sticks. I mean, we only have like 40 followers. Shout out to y'all, by the way.
Thank you.
Each and one of you. I'm sure you're one of them. So like, and Alex is the other. So like every 38 of you.
And are you following ourselves?
I am. So 37. I wanted to at least give us that extra one. But all 37 of you, we appreciate you. Make sure for all you new guys, keep liking us, subscribing. Our videos are coming up a little bit though. Like we're starting to get more to like the 70 and the 100 range. Like we're coming up in the YouTube world. It's kind of humbling. I gotta humble myself. I'm getting popular. I'm internet famous with 100 views. So we'll see. I can't wait till we get to like 15 million views. No, I don't think that's like possible on YouTube.
Yeah, I was gonna say only another 999,915 to go to be viral, right?
No, but it is officially. We're both actually wearing college football shirts. So college football is starting soon. Yours is a lot more prominent. I'm wearing Southeastern. I'm not. For a lot of you guys may not even know what Southeastern is. It's this tiny college in Hammond, Louisiana. I didn't play there, but I had friends that did. I mean, I'm extremely skinny. Clearly, I didn't play college football, but got a shout out to like the NFL preseason starting, man. How's it feel? You excited? You been watching any of the games?
I haven't watched too much of it. I've kind of looked at some of the stats here and there, the box score. I think there's a game going on right now, Cleveland and Philly. Saw old Trey Sermon scored a nice little 33-yard dash.
Trey
took
Sermon.
it to the house. Yeah, it
what
seems yeah. Well, it's funny because DeAndre Swift is supposed to be the number one back there, but it seems like everyone's getting the same amount of touches with the first team. So who knows what's going on there in Philly, but you know, maybe they just want to see what they got and see how things pan out. And you know, I doubt Trey Sermon's unseating DeAndre Swift or Gainwell, but
fuck no.
You know.
Fuck no. And he couldn't make it with Kyle Shanahan. Literally, Kyle Shanahan. I mean, well, not to say like anything bad about that. It's just like he didn't even get on the field. So I mean, I guess that's kind of saying something though about Shanahan. He's kind of ruthless like that. He doesn't give a fuck who you are or what like your draft capital was. Because I mean, Trey Lance hasn't stepped on the field, and like he's been saying pretty clearly, Brock Purdy's that guy. So like. Big clock Brock. Let's go. I've been trying to trade him for you, but like you just been real greedy.
I'm going to sit him on my taxi squad for the next 2 years.
I mean, he's been kind of struggling apparently in their joint practices. I've read on my Twitter feed that he's had like 10 interceptions so far. So
I haven't caught up on any of his news because he's not one of my starters, so not too worried about it.
It is practice, you know. Cue the Allen Iverson meme. It's practice, y'all. You know, we talk about practice, but no, I mean practice. But yeah, it is practice. So it's something to kind of take with a little bit of grain of salt, because also during that time in Jamar Chase's like rookie year, I remember people saying he couldn't catch the ball. So clearly that didn't work out. But we also had Zeke sign with the Patriots. Shout out to all you Ramondre Stevenson owners. Alex, we love you.
Alex.
You will be back on next episode, by the way. He's just
rest in peace.
Yeah, he's just been a little bitch lately. You know, he goes through those phases. You know, we love you, Alex, but you are a little bitch.
Can't wait to have you back on here, buddy. It's nice to have the three of us.
I can't wait to make fun of you to your face. It just makes it a lot better.
Ramondre Stevenson, RB 26,
maybe RB 30. No, I'm just kidding. Not that bad. But we did also have Dalvin Cook officially signed with the Jets too. So that's rest in peace to Breece Hall. Maybe. I mean, at least we kind of figured that into our last video with the rankings. Though we knew because he was hanging out at practices. But
yeah, I had them both at 19 and 20. Yeah, I think talent
yeah,
wise, that they still have the talent to put up the numbers. Just depends on, if they go with like the hot hand or something like that. Just depends on how many touches those guys are getting between the two of them.
yeah, and you had Dalvin ahead of Brees, which is very
Yeah.
spicy take, at least in
I
my opinion.
well, I just think that offense, if he ends up being the man there, and Brees Hall has a slower return, maybe they take it easy with him for, the first 5 weeks or so. It's a lot of touches there in the first 5 weeks on a high powered offense. So,
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a good point because we know whoever is going to get the ball more is going to be whoever Aaron Rodgers trusts more. So I do want to go ahead and other good news. We actually had our draft. So that's kind of what this little episode is going to be about. Cue the little theme music. Dun, dun.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, draft winner right here. What? Oh, what?
Draft winner. You dropped like half your team after the draft.
Two players. Come on.
Oh wait, no, that was also that was Eli that drafted dropped like four of the people he drafted. I was like, dude, why do y'all draft these players in?
Well, because they traded for all these picks. So, like, if you have them, you gotta pick someone, and then what do? You got to get down to the roster limit, right? So
he did complain to me literally right after the draft, and he's like, "Don't ever let," or I don't remember his exact phrasing, but he was basically like, "Don't ever let me fucking trade for so many third round picks." And I was like, "That's that trade you did with fucking Ben that had like 6 third round picks in them." And I was like, "That's the reason you have so many thirds." But oh well, I liked my third round picks. So let's go ahead and dive in though. Let's go ahead and talk about yours first. So, let me
yeah, I was
share
gonna say pull up the draft.
Share screen.
Do you want to just go through like the rounds and just kind of see how things went?
I don't know how to pull up the actual draft. Do you?
Go up to,
Because I was just gonna pull up our teams.
If you go to league, there should be settings.
On settings.
Yep, and then go to draft results.
Draft results. Yep. Oh, here we go. See, you're so smart, Ben. Good for you.
Yeah. See, that's why you keep me around. Guest star.
Well, you're becoming more of the star now that Alex is being a little bitch. Maybe Alex is going to be the guest star.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I'm being a little mean to Alex. He deserves it though. But so yeah, let's go ahead and check out the draft. So obviously, well, we said we'll check out yours first, but let's actually go with mine because I did kind of forget I had the 101. And I mean, of course, it's who it is. It's Bijan Robinson, man. You can't get it any easier than that. And I just want to shout out to myself. You said you're the draft winner. I literally said in our group text right after this, I had a very Howie Roseman-esque draft, motherfucker. I did. I killed that draft. I destroyed it. I went Ted Bundy on that draft. I it's not even recognizable after like what
right.
at least what y'all are gonna be. I'm gonna destroy
nerves there, Michael Myers.
Well, I've been watching Breaking Bad. That's why I changed my name to Heisenberg in the league.
Nice. But no, you did end up with the two stud running backs out of the rookie class. So literally, bravo for that.
The one and two running back. So I was very happy about that, especially because that was my need going into the draft.
Yeah, and I was really worried sitting at 105, which I had originally had 109, traded away, and then ended up trading back in to get 105, which was sort of my plan from the get-go because there wasn't anyone that I was really in love with, like around that 109. I was probably just going to take the best wide receiver that was available there. But I was really, really trying to get up to 105 and hope that JSN was there. And honestly, when the draft started, and you can look at the trade that we have there at 102, Shalakis was able to con Pac-Man. I think Pac-Man Shalakeys, however you say. I don't even know how to say
Shalakeys. Shalakeys. Shout out to Shalakeys, man. What a name.
Yeah, the big fella was originally 102. Pac-Man ended up trading to get the pick, and then Shane or Shalakeys ended up trading up to 102, and I have the trade here in front of me. To get that 102, he traded away Derek Carr, his 23 first round, which was I think 107. Yeah, 107. His 2023 third round, a 2024 first round, and then he gained that 102 and then a 2023 fourth. So we'll see how things work out. He really, really wanted Anthony Richardson. He's a huge Florida fan. And I do think Richardson has that rushing upside for a quarterback. We'll just see how, his accuracy plays out in the NFL. But that trade really played out well for me because I was concerned that Pac-Man at that 102 was going to shoot for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yep.
And if had that happened, I wasn't so sure that Roy G. Biv, he had the 103 and 104. I wasn't sure if he was going to take two quarterbacks if he was able to get Anthony Richardson. I think he might have gone Anthony Richardson and then maybe JSN. Just seeing that the the two position players go ahead of them. So I was really happy to see the Richardson go there and then Roy G. Biv take those two quarterbacks. And I'll let you talk about those guys.
Yeah, so I talked with Roy a lot, and he actually, shout out to Roy. I don't know if you watch this episode, but you played me. He really played with my emotions because I texted Roy, and everyone does this. You try to scout your draft before the draft, see who other people are at least ahead of you were thinking about, because you mentioned the trade that Shalakeys made up to 102. I made a trade up to 106, just like you did to 105. And I think you made that trade after me. So so whenever I made that 106, I was kind of set. Like I thought I was going to really be able to get JSN or Gibbs. And then when I saw you make that trade, I was like, damn, he's going to get one of them. I don't know which one, but he's going to get one of them. And then Roy, he did tell me that he was considering Jahmyr Gibbs as well. So that kind of threw like the whole thing in flux, where for a while, I thought when I made that trade, which by the way, that trade, I do have it in front of me too. It was a Mark Andrews. So this is what I traded. I traded Mark Andrews, Brock Purdy, I think John Mechie as well, and Isaiah Likely also. And I received the 106. And I received Evan Ingram as well. So not that bad. I don't think so. When are you considering I got Josh Gibbs and possibly a top 5 to 6 tight end as well, if he continues to, progress into that Doug Peterson offense, because he really exploded last year, won a lot of people championships. So I think that trade came out at least pretty evenly, because this, by the way, this is also a tight end premium league that we are in. So like a little bit more of an elite boost from Mark Andrews, but also kind of a boost for Evan Ingram as well, that I think really helps. And then also when you have that pass catching upside for Jahmyr Gibbs, I couldn't have been happier with how my first two picks turned out in this first round, honestly. And I do want to ask you, if it did come down, now that obviously the draft is, you obviously chose anyway, so never mind that.
You were going to ask who would I have taken, JSN or Gibbs?
I've been obviously drinking a little bit too much. This is like my third beer, so I had a moment right there. But so you did also at your original spot, though. Let me ask you this: at your original spot, you were picking 109, right?
I just looked. It was 108.
108. Okay,
yeah. So Shane Dubs, I traded with.
You did trade up, and this is a 10-team league, as you guys can see. I know like our little thing is right in the way. There we go. Oh, well, it jumped back. Never mind. But as you can see, this is a 10-team league. So if you were still at that 108 and you had to choose between a Zay Flowers, a Quentin Johnson, or a Kendre Miller, who would you have picked? Would you have still gone like Zay? Because I know that was a guy that you talked up a lot during the preseason, and who coincidentally has looked great, looked real smooth every time you've seen like routes coming out in and out of his breaks, has been given a lot of DBs trouble reportedly in camp and like joint practices and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think at the time of the draft, a lot of that news of him doing really well hadn't been released yet. I think the wide receiver room there was still a little crowded, and he hadn't kind of made his way up the depth chart. So I think at that 108, I probably would have ended up with QJ, just because Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, those guys are starting to get old. And then, just having Herbert there, a stud QB that is going to launch the ball down the field. I think there's a lot of upside there for QJ, and that I think that would have been the safer pick over Zay Flowers. But I do love Zay. The dude's athletic as hell. I think he's going to have a great career. I do just worry a little bit with just the pecking order there. You also have Mark Andrews, stealing red zone touches. And then obviously Lamar Jackson being a rushing QB. So
right,
just a little more concern there than QJ at the 108. So that's where I would have went.
No, so far this wide receiver class is really living up to the hype, man. Like at least from preseason and training camp and joint practices and things like that, they have all looked great. Quentin Johnson has made some plays. Jordan Addison, he had a little scare with some legal issues, but it looks like he's going to be okay. JSN looks great. Zay Flowers looks great. So let's I don't have any more picks in the first round, and neither did you, but you did have some picks in the second round. So let's kind of go through that. You picked, who did you pick? Where I don't see your there you go. Later in the second round. But
yeah, I'm all the way at 2-6. No, go ahead.
No, I did before we got to yours. I did just want to bring up like the 3 tight ends because we had those 3 tight ends go back to back to back. Obviously, Dalton Kincaid's another player that's just been getting a ton of hype recently, and I tried really freaking hard to trade up for Dalton Kincaid. So for any of you guys don't know, I am Cougar Hunter on this side right here. Excuse me. And that's kind of like an inside joke. Well, not really an inside joke. That's an NFL joke for anyone that has a life. If my picture is Zach Wilson with a Cougar, put 2 and 2 together. But I have Josh Allen there, so I really wanted that Josh Allen's Dalton Kincaid stack. Excuse me. Sorry, had to get it out. But yeah, so I really wanted that Josh Allen Dalton Kincaid stack because from what I've read, he's going to be playing a lot out of the slot, and they're going to be running a lot of 12 personnel as well. So he is going to be on, even though Dawson Knox is going to be there for a while, Kincaid's still going to be on the field a ton. So you still have guys like Khalil Shakur. I think they signed Deontay Hardy. None of those guys really scare me, at least in terms for slot usage. And I don't remember Dalton Kincaid's forward 40 time, but I do think he was like a 4.6 guy. So he is fast enough to like
he's
really
pretty athletic.
Yeah, he's known for being that athletic guy. And he's also been really praised recently for running very crisp routes. So again, kind of living up to that Travis Kelce comparison that people were giving him coming out of college. So this is a guy that I really, really, really wanted. And just to kind of throw some love to the other guys, I haven't heard as much actually about Michael Mayer, but Sam Laporta has also been getting a ton of praise recently with guys saying that he's the best, like at least the coaches out of Iowa State saying, I know y'all got me on that one last time.
Iowa.
Shut up. Iowa State.
No state at the end. Just Iowa.
Shh. Sam Laporta has been getting a ton of praise from his previous coaches, saying that he's the best tight end that he have ever coached.
Yep.
Possibly the best player that they have ever coached. And this is the same college that has birthed guys like Noah Fant, George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson, so on. That's like truly tight end university right there. So I did just want to go over those 3 real quick. But I know you have your back-to-back picks. You actually have 3 picks there. So let's go into like your running backs, because we did have another little spree of running backs before we get into the 3rd round.
Yeah, well, I want to go back a little bit to 110 and 2-1 and 2-2 and 2-3. I tried to trade up with every single one of those guys. And
both of us shot our shots and failed.
Dude, I was on the phone like all day trying to trade bait these guys, and I couldn't get anyone to accept it. And I was actually trying to go with your Seattle running back there, Charbonnet. I was trying to pick him up early, and then once it got after he was drafted, then I was trying to trade for 2-2 and Pac-Man. Uh, and I just want to call this out right now. This is the worst pick of the draft, I think. And if you look
Will
at
Levis, Will Levis, it
at,
sticks out
at
like a sore thumb. Yeah, it
at
does.
2-2 is like at least a full round early. Like
Yeah,
at
no, I
least.
agree. I agree because this is a guy that's not going to step on the field probably at all this year, most likely.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think that offense is anything spectacular. So when he takes it over next year, I don't know what that's going to look like. Yeah, they got DeAndre, but I don't see Derrick Henry being there much longer. And what's that look like afterwards? So,
And also, not to really throw shade on him, but like I guess more of a congratulations to him. But Malik Willis has supposedly been outplaying
phenomenal. Yep.
Wilt Levis so far. So
yeah, and so
take that
I'll
with
tell
what
you,
you will.
yeah, I'll tell you the conversation that I had with Pac-Man as we were going back and forth. I was throwing out my 2-6, future picks, like all types of stuff, players on top of all that, and he was like, 2-6, that's too late. I don't think the guy that I want is going to be there at 2-6. And I was like, okay, man, I guess. And I thought he was going to take A-Chain, honestly. And when that Will Levis pick popped up, I was like, that's the guy you didn't think was going to be there at 2-6. Like I think I was offering him a first round in 2025 to swap 2-2 to 2-6, and he took Will
I would
Levis
have
there.
taken that. Yeah, I would have taken that.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
It's the worst pick, especially when you look at the trades that were offered. There's no way that I would have stayed and taken Will Levis there. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's
but
nuts. I mean, but he's done crazier shit. So I mean, let's move on from Pac-Man. He gets enough shit in that group chat.
But yeah, this couldn't have played out any better for me, because after Charbonnet was gone, again, my next target was trying to pick up A-Chain, and
Yeah.
I saw Kincaid go off the board, and then Mayer went off the board, and then I know Alex was out of pocket, so you were picking for him, and you sent me a text and said, "Ha ha ha, you're not getting Laporta. You know you want him," and I was like, "Damn." But guess who I am getting? The guy that I've been trying to trade up and giving
Yeah.
away first round picks to get, and that's
Yeah.
A-Chain. And I think he's going to do well in that Miami offense. He hasn't looked good, rushing, through the line there, but when he's on little sweeps and stuff like that, he's put together a couple little nice runs, and we'll see how things continue to progress with him.
He's an interesting player. What you hope for is that he turns into Chris Johnson, because I don't know who else to compare him to other than that. I mean, he's not as fast as Chris Johnson was, at least not 40 wise, straight line speed. But like, there are players guys that really swear by him. So I know you were excited to get him, and you obviously do believe in him. If you were willing, even a 2025 first round pick, if you're willing to spend that kind of capital, you obviously believe in the player. So I do really like that pick, especially at the 206 value. And I also really like the Tank Bigsby pick as well. So talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, I was a little weak in running back in my depth chart, so I kind of went running back here.
Yeah, he's a big
Tank,
boy.
yeah, Tank Bigsby. I think he's going to take a little bit of the
Built
pressure
like a tank.
off of ETN there in Jacksonville. And I think he's going to end up with a lot of the red zone carries. He's just a bigger guy. He's not. I think they want to be careful with ETN, and make sure he's not. I mean, he's been a little injury prone. He sat out his whole rookie year, right? So we'll see how that works out with him as well. And then I was a little worried here because I didn't know who Alex was going to take, but I figured it was going to be one of the next running backs, and I'm glad I went with Bigsby over Roshan there. because I wasn't sure what Alex was thinking, whether he was going to go running back or wide receiver. And I really wanted Bigsby and Spears. Spears, I think, is a flyer. I think they're going to look to get him the ball. And then again, like I said, I don't think Derrick Henry's going to be there much longer there in Tennessee if he even finishes out this year there. Not saying that I think Tyjae Spears is going to be the number one guy there or anything, but I think he's another sort of gimmick player like A-Chain. They'll figure out ways to get him the ball. And he's definitely got the pass catching abilities, which is a plus in our PPR league.
Yeah, we are big supporters of Tyjae Spears on this podcast. I got to watch him at the Senior Bowl. Go ahead, check that link out to see a little bit of his highlights from the Senior Bowl if you want to. They'll be in the comments. But Tyjae Spears is great player, man. He's the type of player you want to root for. He's not like overly big, but he plays well and he plays hard. That's something that like I got from the Senior Bowl, but he really worries me with those knee issues. Like I don't remember what the exact thing was, but I'm pretty sure he has like no ACLs. It was like
ACL in his knee.
Yeah, it was like the same thing with Todd Gurley, and I was just like, bro, that is not good vibes at all. Like, love the player. That's not good vibes though whatsoever. So let's go into the third round where you have Jonathan Mingo, which I think is actually a massive steal at 301, because that's like basically their no question future, at least for now, future number one wide receiver, because they do not have a first round pick next year. So unless they try to get someone else in the second round and someone like falls, because next year is supposed to have a great wide receiver class in 2024 as well. But Jonathan Mingo, I love that pick. You also got Chase Brown, which you dropped. I don't really get that. I
was over the limit. That's all.
Okay. Well,
over the roster limit.
But meaning like, I think there are other guys, like if you picked before me, like I think Deuce, like if you really like were considering players like that, like I would have gone Deuce, like guys that at least make it a little harder, because I feel like you picked the best player available in the third round. And to me, Deuce and my guys that I got, Deuce and Tank, at least had the highest upside. They're definitely the biggest dartboard throws as well. Like they could be complete busts, accomplish absolutely nothing, but both of them so far look great. Deuce has looked real shifty. All the videos that have come out, you take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, it is training camp. No one's really trying to hit him right now at that 5'5", 180-pound frame or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, but they've looked great, especially in the preseason. Like I didn't really watch the game, but I watched the highlights on YouTube after. And man, he looked explosive. He looked shifty. He looked like the exact player that I saw when I watched him play Alabama, and he exploded for like 130 yards. I mean, they got blown out, but still, he had like 130, I think maybe either total or just rushing yards. I believe it was rushing yards. So, and then when it comes to Tank, again, he's looked great. His first game, he had 5 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. And every single video you watch of him that comes out, I swear to God, man, this dude has the cleanest fucking break, like coming out of his routes I've ever seen. And he even went viral somewhat, I guess, after the Senior Bowl, because I don't remember who it was. I believe it was Cam Smith, who I think went to the Dolphins, if I remember correctly, the rookie cornerback out of South Carolina. But I don't remember where he got drafted, but there was the video of where he and Cam Smith were going one-on-one, and Tank Dell, that is, just did the nastiest shit coming out of his break with like the cleanest footwork I had probably ever seen in my life. So both guys, like I said, massive dart throws, but they also, in my opinion, have massive upside, because CJ Stroud and Tank Dell reportedly have been building a lot of chemistry together. And then Deuce Vaughn, I mean, if he hits, he's Darren Sproles. And Darren Sproles was a great player in the right offense, obviously. So, and the Cowboys right there, I think would be the right offense, because he doesn't have to be the guy, but he can thrive in like a pass catching gadget role. And maybe even hopefully, I hope they put him out there on special teams. Let him really be Darren Sproles. So what are some of your other favorite picks that we had going the third round?
Well, I was just going to comment on the Deuce Vaughn and why I took Brown over him. Remember, Zeke
Had to
hadn't
defend
signed.
yourself. I get it. Had to defend yourself.
Well, I mean, I'll let you know. You were like, oh, I don't know why you took those guys.
No, I'm
If
just
I
kidding. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
honestly, if I had to redo the draft, I probably would have taken Tank Dell there, where I took Brown.
I was really nervous you would. Like
I
either
know
one of them. We
were
talked
chatting
about
back,
that. Yeah,
we were chatting back and forth, and I almost somewhat felt bad because you were telling me, I hate when people tell me who they're going to take. I told Alex today, hey man, don't be telling me who your free agent targets are, man, because then like if I like actually pursuing those guys, you're going to feel like I sniped them, and I don't want people doing that. So if you're trying to target someone,
is that why you didn't take them?
nah, part
Because
of it.
if you didn't, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I was targeting Brown though a lot earlier, and I think it was just more of a just in case my other running backs that I had drafted didn't pan out. Like I think he was going to be the safer play there in Cincinnati. I think Joe Mixon, he extended for this year and next year, I think, but
made his deal
I don't.
cheaper too.
Yeah, right. So I just, it was sort of like a insurance policy there, just in case one of those other running backs for me didn't pan out. But I really do like Tank Dell, and if I had to redo it, I probably would have taken him there. I had planned. I was going to have to drop these two picks anyways, regardless. So, because I was over. Well, I would have had to drop one. I would have been one over, but I had plans to try to pick up Mac Jones and
could have made a trade
because he was just sitting there.
You could have made a trade.
Yeah, the draft was taking way too long, and I just wanted the shit to just keep moving. So I was like, I'm not trying to do this anymore. And no one was really interested in trading for third round picks, anyways. Even though I don't understand why, because
I like
right
third
there,
round picks.
Right there, the beginning of the third, even a couple of the picks there at the end of the third, I thought there was a lot of good value there.
Oh yeah, there is. Like I mentioned,
so
Jonathan Mingo, I think could be a steal if he turns out, because that's a number one wide receiver right there.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know why everyone was like, I don't want your third round pick. I'm like, okay, well, I'll take Mingo then. Like the guy that's going to be, Bryce Young's number one. Cool, thanks.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I was going to end up dropping those guys and take Mac Jones, and that would have filled out my roster. Unfortunately, when free agency happened, I didn't get that pick, and I dropped those guys and ended up picking up Justin Ross. So I'm happy.
Yeah, and you did also. I mean, you could have drafted Justin Ross in the end, because you did also draft Darnell Washington. I see that. And Darnell is a great player. He's also another guy that's been making a lot of plays in camp. I picked him up, actually. I'm actually pretty happy about that because I wanted to come away with another tight end in this draft. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I did get Darnell. So we'll see. He was kind of being comped to like a Mercedes Lewis style player. So, but hopefully he can be a little bit better of like, I guess, at his heights, because Mercedes Lewis was good. I don't think he was ever great, but I mean,
I think he had a couple great years, right? When he was just like one of the top 3 tight ends in the league, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's the case, and I don't know if he was ever top 3. Maybe he was like a top 6 to 5 guy, know. Yeah.
You're nitpicking now.
Yeah, I am. That's what this fucking podcast is for, to nitpick and argue.
I will say with Washington, he's a big boy, right? And he played against the that Georgia defensive line, right, which is now Philly's defensive line, their whole front. And people have been telling or reporting that he's doing really, really well with his blocking and his route running when he's been asked to do so. So I think he's a player that's going to be on the field a lot, which could lead to some targets, right?
Yeah. And for me,
and he's 21.
Yeah, he's young. Who knows? They may not re-sign Pat Freiermuth. I mean,
Yep.
Fryermuth's been in the league for like what, 3 years now? This is this third year.
Yeah, I think 3.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't, regardless, like when you have a guy like Darnell waiting in the wins, even in the wins, in the wings, but even if you don't, and you have
He's
like that,
flying.
and you have those two tight end guys, I think that's great, man. Darnell is young. He can develop. He's in one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL with Mike Tomlin. And for me personally, like I said, if I get him and he turns out to even be remotely like in a tight end premium league, keep that in mind, even remotely like a startable tight end, like top 12 to 15 tight end at some point in his career, shit, dude, that's a steal for me. I got him
Yep.
off of waivers because you had to drop him, like you said. So like that's a
Yep.
steal for me if he ends up being like a top 12, like a startable tight end. So he's worth the shot to just go ahead, throw him on your taxi squad. Just throw
Yep.
him on. At least for me, for someone who had the room. Because I dropped a lot of people going into the off season. So
Yeah,
to
that's
kind
where he
of
was going to sit for me. It was on my taxi squad. If I kept him, I didn't have anyone else that I felt comfortable dropping.
Yeah, no, I mean, it happens. That's part of the reasons we like to play Dynasty, because it requires some of those tough decisions sometimes where you have to really think long term about whose value you like the most and whose you don't. And it's just like in real football, you got to make tough decisions sometimes. So that's why we love
Yep.
fantasy. But to go out and close out this video, because neither one of us had many picks in the last 4 rounds. I mean, last four in the last 2 rounds. But even though, regardless, those last 2 rounds, it's even more of just like straight dart throws. There's nothing at no I'm getting tongue twisted. No such thing as a sure thing in the last 2 rounds. Like I said, Jonathan Mingo was really a steal. And for me, it kind of cuts off like maybe that 3.6, 3.7, like maybe 3.08. I don't know. I've heard really iffy things about Jalen Hyatt going into the offseason. But that's really the last where you're kind of like, okay, I'm getting some real talented players. I know we just talked about Darnell. So maybe I guess you could say that whole 3rd round. But really after that, that's kind of for sure where it's cut. The 3rd round is a lot of dart throws regardless, but you still have those players where you're like, you have some upside. In your 4th and 5th, you're kind of just hoping for anything at this point. These are guys most of the time that are getting dropped, but one or two of them might stick on your, it's the last 2 rounds, depending on how much space you got and how big your rosters are, they might stick around. So to go ahead and wrap out this episode, I want to just talk about whether it's your pick or not your pick. Who are like your favorite, like just 2 or 1, in our instance, actually, because we're each going to say one, but who's your favorite dart throw in the last 2 rounds of somebody that you want to just, in many leagues as you can, just stick on your taxi squad? Like, who's like your favorite player?
Yeah, well, I'll say it's right there at the beginning of the 4th round, and it's Puka Nakua. I think he's
Okay,
going to do. I
I
think he's
like
going to do
that.
really well with the Rams. In fact, he scored a touchdown the other day from Stetson Bennett. I know
He's been
Mark is.
playing well too.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't believe Stafford is going to be around much longer either. I think there's
I
some
mean, when
injury
your rookie
concerns.
quarterback is 29 years old, I hope not.
I don't think he's 20. How old is he, man? Now I got to look it up.
I
What
think
is he,
he's like
20, 25?
he's like 29. No, he's old as shit. Maybe I'm
No,
making that up. He's old as shit though.
he's 25. Stetson
Okay.
Bennett. Come on.
He's old as shit, dude. That's a old ass, that's a grown ass man as a rookie.
Yeah, but no, I think Puka Nakua is going to find his way into that 3rd receiver role behind Cooper Cup and, oh man, the other guy's escaping me. Who's their number 2?
Van
Uh,
Jefferson.
yeah, there you go.
Just picked him up on waivers. I'm excited
Uh,
about him.
yeah. So I think with the
Shut up,
defenses,
dog. Sorry,
I
that's my
think with
dog.
defenses focusing on Cooper Cup there, that'll give him a little bit of room to work underneath, and we'll see what that target share looks like for him. I think that's a really good pickup there for Mark, especially Mark was sort of wide receiver needy. He's got some old guys, so I think taking a nice little dart throw young guy there at the end is a good pick.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Love the Puka Nakua pick. Like I said, love Shaquille Bennett. Shaquille, wow. Stetson Bennett as well. Also do really like Cedric Tillman as well, but my favorite pick, and I'm gonna be a little bit of a homer on this one, is A.T. Perry, man. Yep, A.T. Perry. You knew exactly who I was saying, but because as a Saints fan, you probably keep up with it. But A.T. Perry's looked great. I don't remember what his first outing was in the preseason, but I think it was like 5 for 60 and a touchdown or close to it, something like that. Apparently, he has been giving people trouble in the joint practices and in training camp and things like that. He also apparently in a scrimmage, I don't remember against who, but with I think no, they're about to scrimmage Chargers. I don't remember who the Saints scrimmage like. Probably the Chiefs because they played them in the preseason. But apparently in one of their scrimmage, he had like 70 yards and a touchdown, or like a 70-yard touchdown catch, maybe it was. But this is a guy that just been making a lot of noise this offseason. And it was kind of a shocker that he fell to the 5th round because this was a very productive player in college. I don't remember exactly what it was. Let's see if it says right here. Oh, yeah. So, look, caught all 6 of his targets for 70 yards and a touchdown in the preseason versus the Chiefs. So, let's see. I thought it would say, like, maybe they got rid of it.
It only does the latest news up there.
Yeah, well, before they updated it, they said they had, like, his college production up there as well. But this is a guy that I know for sure in his last year went over 1,100 yards in college production. So he is a productive guy. He's young. As you see, he is 22, I believe, 23. So he's 23 years old. He's worth a shot, man. And especially in the Saints offense, you have Michael Thomas. And especially when you talk about 506. Oh, and this is Mark's pick too. Good for him. Mark got 2 steals in the 5th round. Mark, that's good drafting right there. Especially like how you said that he had some older wide receivers. That's how you really capitalize on that. But
yep, I agree.
Yeah,
he did. I think he did well with Nakua, Perry, and Scott there. Scott being a burner for Chicago.
He got Tyler Scott too. Yeah, that's a good one. Those are all guys that have chances at real roles.
Yep, I agree. I think Scott's probably a little down on the pecking order for this year. So he'd probably need some injury help. But I think after next year, we'll see how. I think this is Claypool's make or break year, and if he doesn't pan out, then I think Tyler Scott's next man up there.
I agree. I really like Tyler Scott. I mean, and you know how I feel about Chase Claypool. I think he'll be in the XFL in a few years. Sorry.
That's what he said every time I tried to trade him to you for like a 30th round pick.
Yep. I was like, I have no interest in a player who will be playing for the Houston Roughnecks in 2 years. So, and shout out to the Houston Roughnecks. They gave me my first couple of games in XFL, working sound. Nice. Hey, they're good too, but like it's the XFL, bro. We don't have XFL fantasy. So, that's my guys. A.T. Perry, like I didn't say this, but obviously you got Michael Thomas, who's old, injury prone, apparently looks great. I saw a video earlier today of him giving the business to Derwin James and J.C. Jackson. So slant God himself looks like he may be back, but who knows?
So.
Yeah, I hope so too as a Saints fan, but who knows what his future with the organization lays past this year. So A.T. Perry, Tyler Scott, Puka Nakua, all guys that have chances at like legit wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 roles, like Tyler Scott being possibly a legit slot wide receiver in his offense. And Justin Fields, again, has supposedly looked great. I mean, in his first game, I think he went 3 for 3, 123 yards and a touchdown, so
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
So like Justin Fields, y'all better go trade for that motherfucker. Well, didn't you trade for him?
I did. I traded Trevor Lawrence away for him.
And good for you. You sucker. I'm mad at that. I love Justin Fields. I need to get him in a league. But yeah, so that's our rookie draft, League of Legends. Let us know who you think had the best draft. Obviously, it was me. I am the Howie fucking Roseman of this draft. I crushed it, but I will give some credit. You did have a good draft as well, Ben. Like I said, I really think you crushed it with your running backs, which again was your need. And then also getting the best wide receiver in the draft is not too shabby either. And then also, I think Mark had a great draft. I mean, it's a 10-team league, so it's hard to have a bad draft, but like, there are obviously some others that had a much better drafts than others. And I think Mark, me, and you are definitely one of them. You know, Alex, like we said, was MIA. Roy didn't have a terrible draft. Some of his later picks were a little questionable considering who was still on the board, i.e. Jonathan Mingo in the 3rd round, you know, with him going Rashid Rice over him.
I was so happy when he took Rice. Like, you have no idea. I was like, what? Yes.
I get it. You know, it's the Chiefs offense. There's no clear number 1 wide receiver outside of Travis, but to me, I got to go with Jonathan Mingo, a guy who has a chance to be a legit wide receiver 1, you know, that the number 1 wide receiver option. To be fair, Mingo didn't have a lot of college production, so that is something that does make you hesitant, which is why he probably fell in the real draft and in our draft. But I would have went Mingo still. I just think the athletic ability is too much.
Actually, post draft, Terrace Marshall tore his ACL or Achilles.
Oh,
or
did he?
Like that,
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, so I believe he's
breaking
out for the
news for
season.
me.
So and I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Yeah, so that's a benefit for me. Yep.
Up goes Mingo. Love it. But yeah, y'all let us know who y'all thought had the best draft in the comments. I mean, obviously it was me, but just to make others feel better. And Alex, you're not allowed to comment because you didn't participate. So we'll see you next time. But again, make sure you guys like and subscribe. This is the League of Legends draft, and we're still working on our name of the podcast, but just call us First Down Fantasy from now on. And yeah, we will be back next time. Bye.
And wait. I'm going to correct myself because I was wrong. It wasn't Terrace. Oh no, what are you doing?
Well, I didn't stop recording. Did you still need that?
Oh, it exited on mine.
Oh, well.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just going to say Terrace Marshall did not injure his Achilles. He's got an injured back, so he's out the rest of the preseason, it says.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I must have thought it was someone else then.
Yeah, not breaking news. You just give us false hope for never mind.
Jonathan
Mingo sucks. He ain't gonna do shit this year. No, I'm just kidding. I do like
steal at 301.
Yes, he's a steal at 301. But again, we'll see you guys next time. Episode 17. Who knows what we'll do next time? Hopefully we'll get Alex back. He said he'll be back by next episode, but who knows? He's been everywhere lately. He's been a little bitch, but we still love you, Alex.
Love you, buddy. We'll get you in here.
Kind of. We'll get you here eventually. But yeah, make sure you guys, again, like and subscribe. Check you out next time. Peace.